abroad. Brent Stewart has joined us once again. As you know, he's the founding attorney for Stewart Law Offices. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
So in personal injury, prior health issues, so do they weigh in at all to if someone's injured on the job or in a car accident?
They do in a ton of ways. And they also really weigh in, even if you're just going to the doctor in general. Take personal injury out. We all go into the doctor's office and they give us that form and they say, go sit down with your clipboard, with your little pen, and that says, go through your previous injuries or previous issues. And everyone is too lazy to fill it out properly, so you just check boxes and you don't do anything right. In a personal injury case, that could come back and haunt you because a good defense attorney is going to pull that sheet, and if you checked, I never had a back problem, and you're there with a back injury, then they can make it look like you're making it up to blame everything on that wreck. If you check it that you have the back problem and you make that clear, they can't use that against you. And what you have is a pre-existing injury, and a pre-existing injury can make you more susceptible to an aggravation of that pre-existing injury. So I don't think people lie when they fill those forms out. I think that they just don't pay attention, and then it's used against them. But if a client is trying to do something to make it seem like their first injury, that can hurt us in the long run. And that's why it's just important to be straight up front on the forms, on any discovery that we fill out. Tell us what your prior injuries are and we can work with them.
All right, so here's a good question. How do we address fault if I'm just partially to blame?
In South Carolina, if you're partially to blame, what they do is they decrease your damages by that percentage for the most. So if there's a wreck and they find you 10% at fault, and your case is worth $100, and you're awarded $100, but you're found to be 10% at fault, they can reduce the amount of that judgment by 10% or $10. So just because you're a little bit at fault doesn't cut your case out. Unless, if you're over half, then you won't get a recovery because then it's basically your fault. So as long as you are a percentage at fault that's small, we can work with that. And those are factors that we need to get clear up front. I think it's always easier when we look at a case up front to tell the client, hey, I think you're 10% at fault. Then they can either get a second opinion, but I don't think it's good to tell the client, hey, everything's great, get the case, and at the end then explain that later. So we try to do that up front, even if the client isn't real happy with us to start with.
So of all the cases you all are handling in today's world, what is the most common?
I'd say the most common wreck is the rear end wreck.
Yes.
And I think, and this is my guess, I think more than 60% of our wrecks are now telephone related.
Oh, yeah.
That's why it's important now to send out, for most cases, a spoliation letter to keep the cell phones. I mean, everybody's doing it.
But how can you prove that that person wasn't on their phone?
Well, if we get their phone and we can run analysis on the phone to determine whether they were on the phone at the time of the wreck. And so we can do that. It's expensive, so you don't want to do it in every wreck, but you want to protect the evidence up front because you don't know where the injuries are going to go.
Right.
But hiring someone to actually do that usually only takes place in really catastrophic injury cases because of the expense.
All right. And motorcycle accidents. Do you deal with many motorcycle accidents?
We do, and luckily they're not as common as car wrecks because the injuries are just that much worse. But motorcycle wrecks, when they happen, are tragic. I think cars should really look out for motorcycle drivers. I know we've all seen somebody on a crotch rocket go flying by us, and that upsets us. But the bottom line is we want everyone to be safe. So do everyone a favor and really look for motorcycle drivers. They're at a disadvantage for safety, and it's really important to protect them.
All right, and they should, of course, a helmet is a law in South Carolina to wear a helmet, right?
So
of course.
Helmet is a very good thing to wear. Law or not, wear a helmet. It saves lives.
And you have a website that a lot of this information is on that we can get.
We try to put as much information on our website as possible, and we try to keep it updated. Fortunately or unfortunately, web pages and Google and the rest of it has become a big part of the industry, and there's a lot of information out there. But nothing on the internet takes the place of actually talking to a lawyer because there's too many Google lawyers, and I know Google doctors out there. do your research, read reviews, see if you're talking to a good lawyer, but then talk to somebody, because your set of facts might not exactly fit what you as a Google lawyer have found. Talk to a couple lawyers and never discourage second opinions. I think it's great. I want you to feel confident with me. If we start with a confident baseline, working together, it just makes the whole process easier.
All right, so again, if you want more information about the Stewart Law Offices, you can
give us a call at 866-STEWART. You can Alexa me, you can Siri me, you can Google me at 866-STEWART or Stewart Law Offices, and ask for me. My name is Brent. I'll be glad to talk to you personally.
Great information. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Brent Stewart with Stewart Law Offices, and we'll be right back with more North of the Broad. Don't go away.